Can y'all elaborate on dice game when it's tied to y'all?
I know people were associating me with that Duke the Jeweler situation because I went to the Boosie pool party and he happened to be there and he happened to be standing on me. I mean, right next to him.
When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and killed the dude. What the hell my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man.
Boosie is in hot water with the feds. Him and J. Prince Jr. Mob tie.
He's gonna be dropping.
Man, Lord.
He's gonna be mad.
Something about this situation never sat right, and now it's starting to make a lot more sense. Boosie is reportedly under federal attention for his alleged role in a situation that ended badly for Duke the Jeweler after a Houston trip that was supposed to be strictly business. None of this has been confirmed as fact, but the way everything unfolded has people raising serious eyebrows. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, let's slow it down and really look at how this story is said to have played out, because the details are where it starts to feel uncomfortable. This wasn't random, and it definitely wasn't simple. The idea, at least according to online commentary, is simple. Outsiders aren't as familiar with the environment, which can make them easier to read and size up.
Y'all got us all the way up, man. We met that dude, Duke the Jeweler, the night before. We was gambling. The next day, dude followed us to the concert. When we left out the concert, we under the garage. Dude went to his car by himself and walked down to the parking lot. That's when somebody tried to rob him and killed the dude.
People allegedly start gathering quiet details: who's in town, how much money they're moving with, what jewelry or cash is being shown. No confrontation needed, just industry connections, word of mouth, and social circles doing the talking. Then comes what commentators call the introduction phase. J. Prince Jr., as described in rumors, doesn't allegedly rush or move reckless. Instead, he's said to present himself as a respected Houston figure, someone offering hospitality and protection to visitors. Sometimes it's a direct message, other times it's mutual friends vouching, making everything feel smooth, natural, and safe. Once that comfort is built, that's when things reportedly shift. The visitor gets shown around, introduced to key people, and made to feel part of something exclusive. From the outside, it looks like networking and good vibes, but critics claim it's really about lowering defenses and building trust before the stakes rise. When it comes to Duke, the plan people online believe was in place sounded calculated. Let him win early to build confidence, then slowly raise the stakes under controlled conditions and flip the outcome. The expectation, according to speculation, was that he'd leave lighter and head back to Chicago without making noise. Duke wasn't just another jeweler trying to make a name. He was one of the most respected names in the Midwest, building his brand from the ground up and earning trust in music, sports, and business circles. People respected him, and that trust is exactly why this story hit so hard. He had worked with artists before, but when Boosie reached out, it felt different. Boosie wasn't just another client placing an order. He was a Louisiana heavyweight with influence, history, and serious connections. A call like that can shift your whole business overnight, and according to online discussions, Duke reportedly saw it as a major opportunity.
What the hell my 19-year-old cousin gonna try to rob and kill somebody? Bro, we getting money, man. We get fucking money. That ain't our stilo. As a boss, I ain't letting that go down like that, man. This dude finna make me a piece. So y'all need to kill that. That's bad low, man. Don't put us in nothing with no bad low. It's bad low, man.
But here's where things shift. Boosie allegedly didn't want the deal handled in Chicago or Louisiana. Instead, Duke was encouraged to come to Houston, pitched as a Labor Day weekend filled with high-profile faces and potential new clients. Networking, exposure, custom orders all in one trip. It sounded like a power move. From the outside, it looked like smart business. Duke even posted about heading to Houston, excited about the opportunities ahead. There were no warning signs, no visible hesitation, just a confident entrepreneur making boss moves. Based on public information, he couldn't have known the trip would take such a dark turn. Now the conversation changes. Online commentary suggests he may have unknowingly stepped into a situation that would end his journey entirely. That's where speculation grows, and that's where J. Prince Jr. enters the discussion, pushing this story into even deeper waters. Some commentators believe this wasn't isolated, but possibly part of a bigger pattern whispered about for years. To be clear, these are allegations, not proven facts. Still, people point to long-running rumors that connect J. Prince Jr. to multiple situations where successful visitors allegedly found themselves in high-stakes environments that didn't end well. Online voices describe it as calculated and controlled, almost structured rather than chaotic. Nothing has been proven in court, but the similarities in these stories have kept observers watching closely, and that's why this situation refuses to fade.
Can y'all elaborate on dice game when it's tied to y'all?
I know people were associating me with that Duke the Jeweler situation because I went to the Boosie pool party and he happened to be there and he happened to be standing on me. I mean, right next to him. The truth is, I never met him before. I had no idea who he is. I didn't even know he was a jeweler until after his passing.
According to long-running street talk and online discussions, the claim is that this kind of situation allegedly begins with out-of-town figures, rappers, athletes, or successful business people coming into Houston. Again, these are claims and rumors circulating publicly, but that's the framework many online commentators say connect the dots.
But this is where, according to Street Talk, everything went off script. Rumors suggest real dice somehow ended up in play instead of altered ones. Whether it was confusion, a mix-up, or someone slipping, nobody can confirm. What's being heavily discussed is that Duke allegedly started winning, and not just by a little. Multiple online accounts claim Duke reportedly walked away with more than $645,000 that night. That number changes the mood of a room fast, especially when the people losing aren't used to being on that side of the table. Observers say the tension built up quickly, and the playful vibe disappeared. The strategies that were supposed to control the outcome suddenly meant nothing once real dice were rolling. Faces tightened, energy shifted. What started as friendly competition reportedly turned serious. One detail people keep pointing out is Boosie's behavior during the game. Some say he stood behind Duke and kept whistling repeatedly. At the time, it may have seemed like background noise. Now, some commentators believe those whistles could have been signals, possibly attempts to coordinate what to do next. As the atmosphere changed, many who've discussed this say Duke reportedly stayed respectful the entire time, even while winning. There was no flashy celebration, no taunting, no disrespect. But according to Street Chatter, simply walking away with that kind of money may have been enough to change everything. Once the game wrapped up, observers claimed the mood flipped instantly. Smiles faded. The warmth cooled off. The room reportedly felt stiff and tense. What earlier felt like hospitality allegedly turned serious. Based on witness claims and online discussions, the idea of an out-of-town jeweler leaving with over $500,000 didn't sit right with some people. The welcoming vibe was replaced with cold stares and quiet side conversations that didn't include Duke. After the game ended, people say a private discussion allegedly took place involving Boosie, J. Prince Jr., and others from their circle, and that's where even more questions began to surface. According to speculation, this wasn't emotional or rushed. People online describe it as calm, calculated, and deliberate. Commentary suggests the focus quickly shifted to how to undo what had just happened. Street Talk even claims they already knew Duke planned to attend Boosie's concert the next night, which if true, would have given plenty of time to watch his movements and note where he was staying. None of this is confirmed, but the consistency of these claims is what keeps the conversation alive. Accounts circulating online allege that multiple individuals kept eyes on Duke throughout the day. When the situation later escalated in a parking area, commentators say it moved fast. Duke reportedly tried to protect himself and wasn't looking for problems, just trying to return to where he was staying. People discussing the case believe he was outnumbered and unprepared, while the other side allegedly came ready for something serious. That imbalance is what many say changed everything. The incident itself is described as sudden and chaotic. By the time it was over, Duke's journey had tragically ended, and the money he reportedly won, along with his jewelry, was gone. Whoever was responsible disappeared before help could arrive. Then attention shifted to Boosie's public response, and that's when even more eyebrows went up.
The night of that game isn't the night that he got killed. He got killed leaving Boosie concert the next night because somebody tried to rob him. So, you know, the internet play internet games. Didn't even know. I ain't know his name. I had no knowledge of him. I ain't know he was from Chicago. I ain't know he was a jeweler until social media started trying to point a finger because he was standing next to me, and it's just unfortunate that something transpired after another dice game, but neither incidents had anything to do with a dice.
He appeared on camera several times, expressing sadness and distancing himself from what happened. He spoke positively about Duke and said this outcome wasn't in his character. But what confused many viewers was his claim that Duke had actually lost money during the dice game. That directly clashes with widespread online commentary saying Duke walked away with more than $600,000. That contradiction alone kept people questioning the full story.
What really set off alarms for many observers was how Boosie's version of events seemed to change over time. In one account, Duke allegedly left the concert alone. Later, the story shifted to Duke being with others. Then another version surfaced that didn't fully line up with the first two. When details keep moving like that, people notice, and that's exactly why the shift stood out so much. Another point that didn't sit right with some viewers was how Boosie framed himself afterward. Instead of keeping the focus fully on Duke, he spoke at length about the online criticism he was facing. He mentioned the pressure, the rumors, and the toll on his mental state. For many watching, that felt misplaced given the seriousness of the situation. Some commentators even said the emotion on camera felt more controlled than natural, which only added more questions. Things escalated further when online users began piecing together timelines.
Maybe we need to change the word for the youngsters. The checking in part, you know, is they seem to get hung up on that word checking in.
Yeah.
So if we could diversify that word and bring it up to a 2021 thing.
Right. What's the word, OG? What's the word?
Maybe we may want to tell them they need to get connected.
Yeah.
Fans reviewed footage, public posts, and witness descriptions to track movements before and after the incident. One detail that gained heavy attention was footage that allegedly showed Boosie's nephew leaving the area shortly before everything happened, fusing even more speculation. Then came another twist. According to public discussion, Duke's Louis Vuitton bag, reportedly containing jewelry, was later found at Boosie's place. That detail alone intensified the online debate and pushed even more people to demand clear answers. Insiders say record labels and management teams are quietly reevaluating how they move their artists. The advice is reportedly changing. Be more cautious, limit unnecessary exposure, and stop assuming that every local connection is there to help. Some believe the era of blindly trusting so-called street legends may finally be coming to an end.
Police say the guard saw two men in masks with guns approach the victim, who was parked in the parking lot around 3 o'clock.
If authorities are able to prove that organized systems exist to exploit successful visitors, it could open the door to wider federal attention in multiple cities. The potential impact on Houston's hip-hop scene is another part people can't stop talking about. If J. Prince Jr. and others connected to these allegations face serious legal consequences, it could completely shift the city's power dynamics. Artists and entrepreneurs might finally feel free to operate without pressure or expectation. According to widespread commentary, this is why the Duke situation matters beyond just one individual. Many believe it highlights a larger system that has quietly existed for years, operating behind the scenes and benefiting from silence and fear. Some observers feel Duke may not have been the first person caught up in this kind of situation. That belief is what's driving calls for deeper scrutiny and transparency, especially when similar circumstances keep appearing across different cases. What's also raising eyebrows is talk that people close to Boosie, even within his own circle, are no longer standing firmly behind him. When loyalty starts cracking internally, it often signals that pressure is building where it can't be ignored.
Some dudes tried to rob him. See some dudes that tried to rob me and walked off by itself, man.
As of now, the federal review remains active. Nothing has been finalized, but commentary suggests investigators are being methodical and patient. When cases reach this level, they tend to move carefully rather than loudly. Many believe this situation could reshape how artists think about security, travel, and business relationships going forward. Trust may no longer be given freely. It'll be earned, verified, and questioned. At the end of the day, this story isn't just about one night, one game, or one outcome. It's about power, access, and how success can sometimes make people targets instead of protected figures.
Why you think they Duke the jeweler, they really couldn't get him? That's why they had to come on, homie. If you coming in to check in and you got to stay with this group and they taking you around, they ain't taking you around and introduce you to people. They taking you around so everybody get a piece of you.
And whether or not every claim proves true, the conversation itself is already forcing the industry to look in the mirror. That alone shows how deep the impact of Duke's story really is. Situations like this are exactly why people need to stay alert, especially in industries where money, status, and access move fast. Not every smile is genuine, and not every invitation comes with good intentions. Sometimes the people who welcome you in are the same ones watching your pockets the entire time. Duke the jeweler story hit hard because it shows how quickly things can turn when trust is misplaced. He believed he was stepping into a business opportunity, not a situation that would end his journey entirely. Insiders say record labels and management teams are quietly reevaluating how they move their artists. The advice is reportedly shifting. Be cautious, limit extra exposure, and stop assuming every local connection has good intentions. Some believe the days of blindly trusting so-called street legends might finally be slowing down.
I stayed with Quavo. We stayed out there probably like 2 or 3 hours together before we all parted ways and made sure each other was cool. Like me and him stayed out there. Like one other person pulled up, but it was me and him that stayed out there for hours after this transpired. So
If authorities were ever able to prove that organized systems exist to take advantage of successful visitors, it could bring wider federal attention, not just in one city, but across several. People are also watching how this could impact Houston's hip-hop scene. If J. Prince Jr. or others tied to these allegations were to face serious legal consequences, it could shift long-standing power dynamics overnight. According to widespread commentary, that's why Duke's situation feels bigger than one person. Many believe it shines light on what they describe as a larger system that may have operated quietly for years, protected by silence and fear. Some observers even question whether Duke was the first to face something like this, which is why calls for transparency keep getting louder. There's also talk that people close to Boosie, even within his own circle, may not be standing as firmly behind him as before. When loyalty starts to crack, it often signals pressure building behind the scenes. As of now, the reported federal review remains active. Nothing has been finalized, and investigators are said to be moving carefully and methodically. Many believe this situation could permanently change how artists think about security, travel, and business relationships. Trust may no longer come easy. It might have to be earned, checked, and double-checked. At its core, this story isn't just about one night or one game. It's about power, access, and how success can sometimes attract the wrong kind of attention. Whether every claim proves true or not, the conversation alone is already forcing the industry to reflect. Duke's story hit hard because it shows how fast things can shift when trust is placed in the wrong hands. What looked like a business opportunity reportedly turned into something far more serious, and that's why people are still talking about it. And that reality alone should make everyone pause and move smarter. No matter how tightly someone tries to manage the narrative, the truth has a way of rising to the surface. Online communities don't forget, and details don't just vanish because someone wants them gone. When pieces of a story don't line up, people catch it every single time. This case has already sent shockwaves through the industry, and many believe more information could surface as pressure builds. Whether it leads to accountability or deeper revelations, one thing is certain: these conversations aren't fading anytime soon. If this breakdown gave you clarity or made you think twice, hit like, share this video, and subscribe so you stay updated on what unfolds next. There's another deep dive coming up on your screen with more celebrity drama and real talk you don't want to miss. Stay sharp, move wisely, and always protect yourself when business and big money are involved. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe out there.